Welcome to the Visionary Sister Circle with Dr. L, a space for women who are ready to heal, evolve, and rise into their power. Welcome back to the Circle with Dr. L. So lately, menopause has been coming up in conversations that I've been having with friends, family, and women that I truly love and respect. And I realized something. We are basically all whispering about something that needs to be and should be spoken out loud and plainly for others to hear. So I'm going to say this first. This is not a medical episode. It's not a research episode. It's not about fixing, but this is about naming what's happening with many of us and normalizing it and learning to honor and respect it and have others do the same. So just know that I'm not breaking down as many of us feel like we are doing at this time in our lives, but this is really a transition. And so we can, I tried to figure out how to start this conversation and how to bring this issue to light without making it a shameful thing. Because like so many of you, I have my sleep that's been disrupted. I've suffered from mood swings, anxiety, sometimes sudden sadness, brain fog, exhaustion. I've had hot flashes for God knows, I think it's about 12 years now. It's either a hot flash or it's a chill. And the most diabolical, weight change, and joint pain, which I have, the I guess you could say the downside to that has been the total knee replacements that I've had over the past 5 years. For many of us, it's been a loss of libido. It's been the irritability, particularly with our spouses, and just kind of like not feeling myself. I cut my hair off and did the big chop number 2 in 2020. And that's not even a full list. It's so much more that we suffer from, and that we suffer from often in silence. And many of us are really trying to figure out just what is going on, but it's happening to every woman. And not just some, and those in a particular age range. And the age range could go from 30 to 60. So that tells you a lot in itself. And it shows up differently. Some of us are able to manage the symptoms with supplements, with various ways, with hormonal replacement. If you are a PCOS sister like myself, and or if you have a blood disorder like I do, then you're limited with those options of hormonal replacements or the supplements that you could use. And the other thing is, like myself, again, I keep going back to me because selfishly, this is part of my healing too. Many of us weren't prepared for this. It wasn't a topic that was discussed. When you saw auntie or grandmas that were sweating profusely and they kept the handkerchiefs in their watches or, in their purses, and they always kept a piece of peppermint candy or the cool blue candies that I would always love to get out of my Nana's bag. That was something that wasn't discussed. The mood swings, we just thought they were like being real grumpy old ladies. But we didn't know because they didn't talk about it. And what I'm seeing now is that you have more celebrities being involved. We have more information that's being put out. As a matter of fact, there was a New York Times article that was published a day or two ago, and it talks about women's heart health. And my mother she had heart disease amongst other things, which led to her transition. But it stopped me in my tracks because it really talks about how whatever shows up during menopause can have a major effect on our hearts later on. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, the hormonal shifts that affect the cardiovascular health, and symptoms that are often dismissed or misdiagnosed or misattributed by our, I'm going to put this in air quotes, well-meaning physicians. Sometimes our pain and our concerns are frequently minimized, and the tests that we're given, or matter of fact, the tests that we're not given, really have an impact later on. And they are markers that can show certain things. And I'm not saying this is the blanket statement, because again, just like menopause symptoms is different for everyone. And even when you think about the prescriptions that we receive, or that we don't receive, those matter as well. I'll bring it back. When I right after I turned 50, I was prescribed blood pressure medication, because they labeled me as hypertensive and high cholesterol. And I'm saying, whoa, wait a minute. I never had this before. I was always very active. I never had a concern with my blood pressure, never had a concern with my cholesterol level. I don't eat like many others do. I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork, and I haven't for over 30 years. I don't eat chicken. That's been over 20 years. I don't smoke cigarettes. The only type of milk, quote unquote, milk that I use is in my coffee, because I love half and half. Or I'll do like my Nana did, and I would put canned milk in there, if y'all know what I'm talking about. So it really threw me off. Like, why? How is this happening? But at the same time, that's when my joints started to, give me some trouble. And that's when things started to really shift in my body. And I'll admit, I was a little concerned, but I didn't let like the fear come over me. And it was more of like trying to be informed and really trying to figure out what I can do. Number one, to get off this blood pressure medication, because that was not a thing. I am not a fan of medicine. I am not a fan of taking a lot of pills. I saw my grandmother with like a medicine cabinet full of pills, my mother. And that's always been something that I've tried to avoid. But, I feel like, and again, these are conversations that we can have within our personal circles. But when you share the information, and when it's put out into a larger circle, right? Being informed in a system that hasn't always listened to us, it's important that we start doing that now. And so, again, if you are someone who suffers from anxiety, or if you've had some type of, personal body shaming thing, like your body doesn't look the same, you don't perform the same, we don't really address that, because it really makes us think, about our worthiness and our value, and it is a superficial thing, but it does play a part in how we love on ourselves, and how we really take care of ourselves, and become honest about the season that we are in and who we are now becoming. And so I really think about it as not that my body is betraying me, because when I listen to my body, we're usually on in sync. We're on point, because I have saved myself from a couple of situations just by listening. And I think that more women are starting to do that, We, there's a lady on that I've been following on Facebook, and she started the We Do Not Care Club. And bravo to Sister Melanie for really naming perimenopause, menopause, whatever. I feel like it's all the same, because they talk about menopause being one day. Yeah, okay, whatever. Some of us have had our cycles. We started thinking, or we were going through the phase where we didn't get a cycle, and then boom, here it comes again. The lady in red rears her ugly head. So I think when you have people who are in the public eye who are speaking to that, it makes it a little easier for us to address. And because we're speaking up, and because, to honestly, we don't know why a lot of women have suffered in silence in the past, why many women have been so depressed. And it could have come from the simple fact that those conversations weren't the norm. Our mental health and our heart health and our energy and oh God, terrible sleep patterns have really affected us in various ways, and they're all connected. And so now that we're speaking up, we can really bring this to light. We can bring it to light in the medical field. We can bring it to light to our families, so they don't think we're going crazy. They don't think that we're like overly dramatic, because that has been stated to me too. Oh, you're so emotional. And it doesn't mean that we are weak. It means that our body is going through something, and we just have not caught up to what's happening. So I really wanted to just at least bring some light to this topic, at least, bring it out into the forefront, whether you're here in this circle, or whether you're in your sorority circles, or whether you're in your sister friend circles, or whether you're in your book club circles. Let's not be afraid to speak up, because silence has cost us too much. It has cost many of us to get hysterectomies or unnecessary medical procedures. Many of us have suffered with migraines. Silence, they say like hypertension is the silent killer. Well, guess what? Silence, period, is a killer, right? Wow, I feel like I just dropped a gem. But stay on point, Elle. I just want you to know that you are not broken. You are not alone. You are not to be made to feel like something is wrong with you. You have a sister circle that understands what's happening. It's not you being weak and relinquishing your power or any of that. It's important for us all to remember to ask the question, what is my body asking me to release? What is my body asking me to listen to? And what kind of woman am I becoming right now? Who am I becoming? These are things that we need to really address and be okay with addressing it. And again, you know how I feel, whether you're journaling it, whether you are praying through it, whatever it is that brings you some type of peace, I want you to remember that if nothing else, let this be the moment that you stop questioning yourself. Start listening to your body with compassion. Start understanding that some of your sister girls are going through the same thing, and that we need to raise our voices. We need to use our voices. We need to be a collective in this respect. Okay? So remember, I'm here. I'm in it. And I see you. I feel you, and most likely I'm going through some of the same things that you're going through. So if you have a chance, the New York Times article, I'll see if now I don't know how to do this, but I'll see if I could attach the article, or at least put it up on my website, on my YouTube page. Try to see, some of the tests that are given for heart health. Let's see if we can, start being active and advocate for ourselves. I said being active, being advocates for ourselves, and have some of those tests run so that we at least know what's going on. Many of you may be into holistic medicine, and once I get off these blood thinners, I would love to go back to, a more holistic way of doing things. But I will say a combination of Western medicine and holistic medicine saved my life once again. So you're bearing witness to someone who is accepting the season that I am in, and the woman that I'm becoming, and just understanding that the circle is open and we're here and we're together. So again, and I don't like to seem too pushy, but follow me on YouTube, The Disruptive Visionary. I'm also on, Spotify, Apple Music, and you can also find me on Instagram. Everything is The Disruptive Visionary. And sisters, I want you to really, really love on yourselves. Take time to appreciate the fuller curves that you may be getting, and understand that you need to give yourself grace when it comes to the things that your body is experiencing, and know that you are not alone. And once again, this is Dr. L. Happy 2026. I'm back, and I'm so glad that you're joining me. And guess what? The circle is open.